smoke. When I was a little kid, I used to spend a lot of time, like a lot of times outdoors by myself. Sometimes I would have friends, sometimes, you know, when people are busy. And I used to live in a very like rural areas that was kind of considered safe. It was before that time when people were obsessed about children being kidnapped and all of that. So my parents and parents of other kids would just let us out, hang out, like 20, 30, 10 kids at a time, and it was just so nice. The whole street is out, hanging out. And when I was alone and I had nothing to do, I would always just, you know, experiment with nature. I could be like just stuck with like a plant, just observing it, like looking at it like for hours. Or I think I kind of looked, now that I look at it, I'm kind of glad that I didn't grow up in the United States, because if somebody would saw a child like that, I think that they would put me on meds or something, because I was not always so introverted, but there were times when I think I kind of looked, trying to be careful, I kind of looked autistic, because I was just like stuck at, you know, like looking at trees, like just looking at this micro world for hours. And you know, I'm not sure, I mean, I had the class of like neurodiversity class in the university studying for psychology, and I kind of heard from the professor of how it's happening now, that like they see the behavior and they're like, that's it, like here you go, meds and diagnosis. So it's not that, from his words of a professor who wrote a book, who has an experience, he says that it's not like it's a really long diagnostic. Sometimes it can be fast, not in all cases, but sometimes they can really jump to conclusions too fast. So I was glad that I didn't grow up, because what if you like find not the best doctor who would jump to conclusions, and something that could have happened. Look around. So I could be stuck. Wait a second, I'm gonna show you around. Things and plants and insects. And at some point, I got really fascinated with ants. I observed them every time I would go outside. I would go to a particular, let me close my, dismiss, close. So I would stuck at the specific, would you call it nest? I don't know. And I would observe ants, and at some point I figured out that, well, they need to eat. What should I feed them with? And I started to experiment, and I started bringing them food. And now that I recall this story, I always call it young God. And for some reason, of course I didn't have this idea at the time, I was just doing the thing. But now that I'm remembering it, I was like, sometimes, what if God is just a little child and he's like experimenting with us? Because like, and I know it's creepy to say things like that. I once said it to my partner, and he was like, all right, like a good fantasy, but not a reality, of course. I was like, I'm not saying that it's a reality. Well, the idea was that I was like, what if we are like just size of an ant and same brain and stuff, but God is something huge and we cannot see it? He was like, well, we should have observed like traces and stuff. I was like, yeah, tell that to an ant. Do you think like ants observe? Oh shit. I hit the tree with my head. See, this is what happens when you just like don't look around. That hurt. Pardon you. Excuse you. So I would say that an ant cannot process a huge human. Like if an ant, like even if you grab it into your hand or into your like put it on your finger, an ant doesn't have the capacity, nor the vision, nor the brains, nothing to process and to grasp the bigness and the greatness of a human being. And sometimes we really think that we are so like great and amazing and big. Sometimes I think, what if it's just like ant games, you know, like we're just like a little nest of ants, and real like they're like bigger creatures like God, right, that we cannot see. And everybody's seeing, like everybody's always talking about God, like we can feel him, feel the presence is here. We don't see it, but it's just a side note. Sometimes when it's just not that I believe it 100%. Sometimes I'm just experimenting with the information, and just now that I'm just saying it out loud, pretty much. So I was like remembering this little child that is like, I wonder what they eat. Oh, what if I go and bring them a fly? Like I would experiment like that, and it sort of like was cruel as well. But I was a child, nobody said to me anything, I was experimenting. So at some point I started killing other, oh my gosh, nice view. I started killing other insects and bringing them to ants. And for some reason, it was specifically, it was specifically the the bees that I concentrated on. So, and it reminds me of this movie plot that when I'm trying not to spoil it, but okay, I'm going to spoil it. So if you didn't see that movie, please, spoiler alert, be careful, don't watch it. Wait a second. So basically he wanted to pay back all the 7 lives that he took by mistake. Not took, but it was an accident. So it was an accident, but it was sort of his mistake, and then he tried to recreate that balance and return those 7 lives back, kinda, by giving himself out. And I'm not going to continue in case of not to spoil further. So now somehow, I don't know how, but I don't know how many bees I killed when I was little. I was 6. I mean, not that I'm feeling super guilty about it, but being a very gentle person, I kind of am feeling that, like, I wish that there was an adult that saw it and just told me that it's not nice. Because, like, when you kill one insect and you help the others, then like this helps, and like it creates this like really unnecessary, like it's not there, like this is how we lose the balance. So now somehow I always see bees in problem. Like every time I walk in the street, my vision is somehow very like sharpened on like helping bees. I could walk and I can see like a bee in trouble. Like today I was swimming in the ocean, and I just suddenly saw a bee drowning. So I was like, please don't bite me, please don't bite me. But I grabbed it with my hand and I took it to the to safety, and I save at least a bee per day. Somehow my vision is now like really concentrated on it, and I always like I don't know, in the pool, in the ocean, in the woods, on the streets. I can like go around and I'm like seeing a bee like struggling, like maybe it's too hot. And I don't know if you heard it, but sometimes when you see I wonder why they're doing it. You're waving to me. Okay, maybe it's, wait a second. Maybe the wind is making them go like that. Wait, okay, long story short, I was nature lover and explorer when I was a child. Sometimes these experiments would create lifelong guilt. But now, like in that movie, I'm trying to recreate that balance and I'm saving a lot of bees. And every time you see an exhausted bee on the streets, if you just see it, take it to the shadow. This is the best. Sometimes I heard that they get too hot on the ground and they cannot fly away and then they die. Sometimes when you see an exhausted bee, put some sugar next to it. Put outside when you live, if you live in a house, put a sugar mixed with the water for them. Sometimes they get exhausted and they need some sugar to eat. So I don't know why am I mentioning this today, but you see, I'm a nature lover and I'm trying to contribute however I can. It's a part of this video. I have no idea. And let's look at this amazing view. I'm pretty happy that even though it was super, like it was getting dark in the valley, I didn't know that I'm gonna get all the way up here. I was like all the way down in the valley, but I walked all the 20 minutes up there and now I'm going up again. And this is where I kind of hit my head. Yeah, so when you hike, look around, don't be like me. Oh. I wonder at what point I can start my grounding. Maybe when I transition to the other stage of, like a third stage of the hike. Because here would be harder to ground. It's really, the rocks are kind of sharp. It would be so nice at the first stage, but I don't want to go back there. I want to try out this new road here. I wish I knew about this trail earlier. Even though I saw it, in my mind I was like, it's okay. You know, sometimes for some reason, just like see something, you do like check, and you feel like, I already saw it. It's almost like how people travel for the first time somewhere, like for example, like when you go, I don't know, like Europe trip, you spend 2 hours in this country, 1 day in this country, 2 hours in this city, and it feels like you've completed. But for me to be completed, I need to stay in a space longer and feel through and experimented with my skin and my body and just my whole being. Even like, I don't know, walking on the land, and basically this is what all these episodes are about. Me connecting to this land of Oʻahu. Okay, wildfires. Only you can prevent. Oh wow. Fires. There could be fires here. Surprised. I thought that there are no fires at. Oh wait, yeah. But I mean, not in the jungle parts at least, because they kind of like moisten. Water is around. Yeah, so that was the story. No idea why I shared it, but I guess just to share this idea that we're thinking we're so great and big and the progress and stuff, but oh, nice. The woods. Sometimes I'm like, what if we're just like, you know, we can be, there's more to us. That's I'm sure about. I mean, even look at the emotional intelligence of humans and what we are doing to the earth. I can promise you that we can most certainly do better. And if we are as intelligent as we think, only incredibly advanced and profound cultures live in the balance and in the harmony with the nature, because you know what's feeding you, you know why you are alive. So naturally you're not just consuming and destroying the environment you are living in, you want to take care of it. And this is how we are showing that we are this incredible and developed creature, you know, not developed people. This is how we can prove that we are as intelligent and as profound as we want to be. We claim ourselves to be like the most advanced creatures in the whole big wide universe, galaxy, whatever, like the whole entire, what is the biggest thing? Not the universe, right? How? And then, yeah, we have the rockets, yes, we have iPhones, of course, we are great. But I think that I wonder what we will be capable of when we will be at the top of our not only mind development, but also emotional development, emotional intelligence. So I'm going to show you around a little bit. No talk. Did not go beyond this point. Okay, I just came out of here.
Yeah.
Wow. Uh-huh. Super slippery. But gladly I have my hiking shoes on, so we can do it no problem. I was gonna say there's a waterfall somewhere, and there is a waterfall, a tiny one. Okay, I'm going to pass the people and come back. I have this big love for stairs, jungle stairs. I didn't realize this hike would be so amazing. You see? Don't underestimate smaller sizes. And what's really great is that even though it's now probably 6 o'clock, no, it's actually more, maybe 6:30, still light because I'm up high here and it's a good visibility. I thought if I will be there in the valley, then it would be really dark. But here it's great. Okay, I got to the next interesting point. And now there's 0.8 miles down. So I was here. Wait. Then I was here. Now I am here, I guess. And now I have a chance to see the state park or go back, which is 0.75 miles. Not that far. Maybe I can make a little like rerouting and see what's over there. Like make it like this. We'll see if I have time. Makiki Valley. Makiki Valley. Definitely not Makiki Valley, because it goes here, upper. Oh wait.
Not really, see you?
Well, okay, let me figure it out. Next time I would go here, Makiki Valley, to go up. But this time, since I only have 45 minutes left before sunset, I'll go here. Mauna Laha. Okay. And this is freaking. Well, made my choice, of course, towards the Mauna Lahu trail. It is another 0.8 miles. At some point, hopefully closer to the finish line, I'll take off my shoes, or I will need to come back here tomorrow morning before I fly away because I really wanted to do some grounding. And I saw that people are putting their like those metal things, you know, those sleep stoppers on their legs, which makes me think that this road is going to be slippery. And this is how the sunset is. And I think I'm right on time. I'm even going to get like time to maybe ground into the water a little bit. Kind of hoping to well, the original idea was to get out by sunset, and now it's gonna come true, but I was kind of secretly hoping that maybe I will still have time to go to the ocean. I'm not swimming when it's too dark, so now I'm not sure, but at least I can wash my legs in this nice waterfall here. And probably I'm gonna put my shoes on too, because you know, it's one thing when it's your car, but another thing when it's like a poor Uber or Lyft driver. I'm really trying to be mindful about somebody else's property. Okay, I'll see you later, because this is not interesting to see how somebody else is washing their feet. The plan worked, and I am out of the woods by the sunset. I have to admit, since I did so much work yesterday and today, it's a relatively small hike, but my legs are feeling it a little bit, because I also kind of did it faster, so much faster than I expected. I made the stops, I made all the videos, and still I did it in about an hour and 45 minutes. So I'm gonna see, maybe I'll still have time to dip myself into the ocean before the sunset, before the sun completely sets. Let's see. Back to civilization. Had a really nice conversation with a lady, Lyft driver. She said she's a native and she was born and raised here. We had this great, amazing conversation I'm gonna share later. Actually, I might gonna just have an episode where I'm just going to talk about people I met here that were born and raised here. Not a lot of them, of course, but a few. Still an interesting stories. But I'm back to Waikiki, and I have a nice evening stroll, and that's it. Another amazing day in Hawaii.